Ladies and gentlemen, our guests today filling in for the pirate captain of the Hexicans, we have Ken NetX and Crypto Coffee joining us backstage. Please let's welcome them to the show. And before we give them the chance to pitch this latest endeavor in the world of altcoins and crypto and introduce themselves, I just want to say why we're doing this interview and that I want to encourage more interviews like this. I'm not endorsing Hex. I'm not endorsing any particular investment other than Bitcoin Core, the classic, and encouraging people to invest in crypto in general, encouraging people to explore alternatives. I am an agnostic between the maximalists and the altcoiners debate here, but I support all honest efforts to pursue new means of using blockchain technology and crypto. And after having been interviewed by the pirate captain of the Hexicans, I hope you guys start calling him that now.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that I'm excited for this project as a possibility, as a new venture in the realm of crypto. So, gentlemen, whoever wants to go first, please introduce yourself and your relationship to this project.
Go
Sure.
ahead.
Thanks for having us. We are both with the Hex community. It's not an official team, as Hex is a decentralized entity. There's no company. There's no middleman. The whole point of crypto was to get rid of middlemen. So Kinetics and I are two community members, just as much as anybody else can be a community member. And we're really part of this grassroots movement where anybody can join. And we're really trying to bring crypto back to the initial principles it was based on, from the cypherpunk movement, from decentralizing the world, holding your own keys, self-sovereignty, financial freedom. We're proponents of that, and we're trying to bring that to the world with a new cryptocurrency called HEX, which is truly revolutionary. I'm excited to talk about it. Thanks for having us.
All right, Kinetics.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thanks, Adam, for having us. Yeah, thanks for coming on our show. It was a pleasure and a blast. We really enjoyed being able to spitball some things with you that are very like-minded communities happen to share, and then also be able to give you an intro, so to speak, into this new product that has been released, completed, triple audited, and probably and arguably the most secure product out there on the market. So thanks for having us today.
Hey, well, I'm excited. We don't do enough of this or we haven't recently on Adam versus the Man. Been watching, crypto enthusiasm go to the moon and feeling a little left in the dust here and catching up on things. But for the benefit of our audience, we got 30 minutes. Take a few minutes to explain why you each personally are motivated and what got you involved with Hex in particular.
Sure. I guess I'll start. Crypto, like I said earlier, was invented to get rid of middlemen. And Bitcoin started the dream. It started the decentralized, currency movement. It was borderless, peer-to-peer, for the people. And I love that. And I also love the fact that it goes up so much in price. I mean, it's the fastest appreciating asset of all time. Let's not beat around the bush. I got in it for the money, just as much, if not more, than for the tech. I mean, tech is like a cool little side effect, but that's why we're all in crypto too. Let's be honest with ourselves here. So as a side effect of breaking down the existing financial powers that be and power structures that are in place, you also get to get rich. It's great. It's a win-win. But over time, crypto started to go in a way that we didn't quite agree with. I mean, tragically, after 10 or 11 years, 42% of all Bitcoin is still centralized in the wallets of less than 2,000 addresses. So it's probably less than 200 people. Not that that really matters. But what you're starting to see is new banks and new institutions, your Coinbases, your Binances of the world, starting to dig their roots into the ground and starting to centralize cryptocurrency again. So the people were given the power only to give it right back to the central institutions. Again, like not holding their own keys, giving them up for pitifully low interest rates to centralized entities and exchanges like Binance, Kraken, what have you. And then getting hacked and getting taken advantage of with poor customer service, terrible hours, and all the inefficiencies that we were trying to get rid of from the traditional system. We're starting to see it again. So HEX is a fresh start at a truly decentralized network built on the Ethereum blockchain. And I mean, it's a store of value, just like Bitcoin, but it is so bold as to say that it's basically trying to be a better Bitcoin. And that pisses a lot of people off. They like their Bitcoin, I understand. I mean, Bitcoin can exist too. Bitcoin is kind of the generation 1, and we look at HEX as almost the next generation, greatest new innovation that lives on top of the Ethereum blockchain, right? So with Ethereum, the big innovation there is you're given programmable money. So I hate to break it to any super hardcore Bitcoin fans, but you can't build on top of Bitcoin. You can't build anything on top of it. You can build around it. You can build centralized companies that take your private keys from you for a small little interest rate, but you can't build on it. And so with Ethereum came programmable money. And if you're given programmable money, the first thing you should program logically is interest. And so
I know we're jumping way deep real quick, but let me interrupt for a challenge from the Bitcoin maximalists. Why do you need to build into it? Can't we build everything around in the functionality with Bitcoin?
It's a good point. And yeah, you can. There are services out there that I like. I'm not meaning to bash every service. There are nice, cool things like Lightning Network going on and some other decentralized kind of initiatives around Bitcoin. But we're not seeing it at the speed and the efficiency that we'd like to. So we built HEX. Well, not we. Richard Hart created HEX as a kind of a way. It was distributed for free actually to all Bitcoin holders during the launch phase. So you could free claim it if you held Bitcoin. And that was to try to bootstrap adoption. And HEX is the same way. You can build around it, but technically, because it's a finished product, the code is immutable. You actually can't change the base layer either. But with HEX, we're trying to build a lot more things in the ecosystem that are truly decentralized and not reliant on a central party. And that's only part of it. It's also designed to increase in price faster than anything in the history of mankind.
I know this might not be the right analogy, but maybe if not, tell me how it's not right. A lot of people who saw Bitcoin and saw the limitations of Bitcoin is, I mean, one limit with Bitcoin, I hope you'll address later, is the what is it? Unit bias. People don't want to think of spending. Eventually, the Bitcoin maximalist retort to that would be, well, you'll be spending satoshis, not Bitcoins. Right, we'll just create a new term for what is, a 10,000th of a Bitcoin, and that'll be the practical monetary unit and still works. But there's that challenge as well. Maybe come back to that. But the analogy I'm thinking of is silver versus gold. A lot of people saw Litecoin originally as the silver to Bitcoin's gold, and then Litecoin kind of was like, no, there's so much more in that realm, but that gold has that greater functionality as a store of value by changing a fundamental code, and now you have another immutable blockchain that functions like Bitcoin. That way, you've created what is sort of like a different metal that maybe is more easily, conveniently divisible, like silver, or more practical as money. Does the analogy? How well does that analogy fit to your vision of HEX?
It kind of holds up, but it is great to relate to things that people are already familiar with in the real world. So the silver to gold analogy is great, and Litecoin, it's still around. It's not going anywhere. It's got a community behind it. But to silver and gold, that analogy, we already have Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is digital gold, and that's fine. But you don't really need another digital gold at this point, right? So the analogy I make for HEX is that if the goal of crypto is to decentralize everything that a traditional bank can do, why not pick the second most popular product at a bank after a checking account, which is a certificate of deposit, time deposit CD. It's called different things in different jurisdictions. HEX is the world's first blockchain CD. And that's a over $7 trillion market. It's actually worth more than gold, credit card companies, and payment networks combined. So, product market fit.
Okay, so for people who don't know what a certificate of deposit is, stop and explain that. Because I can't say that I know the basic concept, but I can't say I understand it enough to make the comparison here even.
Sure. So a CD is basically a tool that the wealthy today use to store their money. It basically is just time locking money to gain interest on it. So you can buy at a bank today, you can buy a 1-year CD, a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, whatever the bank is offering. You're subject to their rules basically, and they'll give you 1.5 to maybe 2.5% APY if you're lucky, which is really pure shit. I mean, it's not even enough to beat inflation. So it's kind of offensive that those rates are even.
A certificate of deposit is a fancy way of loaning your money to the bank, letting them hold it under certain conditions. They invest it, they give you a set cut.
Exactly. But with Hex, you're the bank. You hold your own money, and it's trustless interest. It's programmed into the smart contract, and you're not loaning your money to any central party where they can do a myriad of ways to fuck it up. And you are the bank. It's a beautiful thing.
So your concept is that the count of the hex in your wallet increases inherent to the code?
Yeah, so with Hex, you can keep it liquid. You can send it, receive it just like any other crypto, but you can also stake it. And staking is literally just a word for time locking. And it's optional, but that's pretty much what we're all doing in Hex. We're staking it because let's say you believe in it for the long term, you might want to make some stakes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years out. And with Hex, you get so much more flexibility because you go down to the daily level. So I can make a stake expiring on Christmas, on my birthday, whenever I want. And as I'm staked, I'm gaining interest the whole time.
Okay, well, I feel like we're jumping ahead a little bit into so many specifics. Let's go back to Ken for a second. Ken, let me try with all this background and good context in the history and everything else, and understanding how we got to this point of market demand, where you're offering a new monetary product. Mm-hmm. What is Hex?
Well, it's a store of value just like Bitcoin, but it pays you interest to hold. So I don't like the gold to silver analogy.
Hold on, hold on, Ken. I'm going to interrupt. Let me challenge you to break it down to someone who's just jumping into the conversation right now.
No worries.
What is Hex? You have to start with, it's a kind of money that what? You can't just say it's Bitcoin. It's skip all that shit. Because we still have to sell crypto. Even today, for us who understand that crypto's really fucking important to human progress, to peace, to prosperity, to manifesting our potential to love each other as opposed to live under the system of control and exploitation. We have to sell it to them. If someone on the street says, what is Hex? What do you say?
Well, before we get there, I think it's better for us to attack what the blockchain is. It's a slow, expensive database. Is really
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you, man. I'm going to challenge you.
No. Here's why. Here's why it's important.
Man on the street doesn't know what blockchain is. Okay. You start with someone who has no concept of this.
Here's the deal. PayPal will cut you off, right? If they decide they don't want to pay you, PayPal will cut you off. Well, what the blockchain is a way to transact value with censorship resistant, so no one can shut you off, so no one can stop you from transacting. And that's why it is really the sovereignty of money will be held on the blockchain in the future, and it will be the way to exchange value between individuals that can't be muted or censored by a government of any or a specific entity, period. So when you go back to Hex is built on an immutable blockchain, meaning that you and I can transact trustlessly without having to deal with central authority that allows our transactions to go through. So you and I can transact value for goods and services between each other using this digital money. Essentially, it's digital money, ones and zeros, just like you have in your bank account right now, but I don't need an intermediary like a bank to handle it for us.
Okay, and why is this the best crypto? Why is this the one that you have invested your effort and energy into?
The reason I come from the legacy markets, I'm in insurance, and so I come from the legacy financial industries. And so what really appealed to me was, I love the idea of becoming wealthy through cryptocurrencies and through Bitcoin, but Bitcoin doesn't pay you anything to hold it. And so when Richard came out and started explaining Hex, that you're literally locking up economic value and you're getting more economic value paid in like kind in more Hex when you stake that Hex for a set period of time, then you're also getting the benefits of not having to lose value versus other people gaining more of that cryptocurrency versus you. So I guess what is the best thing that a cryptocurrency can do for you? It can pay you more of itself. And if you can lock it up and you can make it so that there's no buy or there's no sell pressure and only buy pressure, because people have locked it up. The average stake right now is over 5 years with Hex right now. So there's a lot of economic energy that is locked up that can't be put on the sell side of the order book of an exchange like you can with Bitcoin. So when you've got people who want to get into the product and others who are staked for long periods of time and can't sell, what happens? Price goes up, has no choice but to go up, because due to the laws of supply and demand, the supply is locked up and the demand is ever increasing.
And actually, to get philosophical on it for a second, if the only reason people buy cryptocurrency in general is because they think price is going to go up, then why not design a cryptocurrency with built-in economics and dynamics that try to help ensure that the price goes up, like the locking and the staking. There's also penalties where if you unstake early, you have to pay a penalty, just like the real world. So we basically just took shit that works in the real world, $7 trillion market, put it on the blockchain, digital CD, and now you can make interest in your sleep and passive income. So it's just so much more attractive because it creates this self-fulfilling feedback loop, right? So you buy it, price goes up, it brings in more people see the price goes up, they buy it, they lock it, other people see the price goes up, and it's this cascading effect.
So what are the rules for how many Hex tokens can be in circulation?
Good question.
So there's a set inflation rate of 3.69% inflation on an annual basis, but it's a delayed release of inflation to the market because it's only paid to the staker class. Those who are staked and have that economic energy locked up for a period of time are the ones getting paid the additional inflation. So why I say it's a delayed inflation is a lot of that economic energy you're not going to see even hit the market for another 5, 6, 7, as far out as 15 years, because we've got Hexicans that are staked as far as 15 years out, which is the maximum the contract will allow.
Wow. Okay. How much? And I know this might be a weird estimate question to answer, but how much equivalent of US dollars has been spent buying into as an investment foundational into the Hex blockchain?
Yeah, we can look that up right now, actually.
How much have you essentially raised for this venture so far? And I say that because it's one way of measuring what is the investment and interest in actual market interest in a new crypto. But it's also something that's hard to measure because a lot of it is traded in and out of others. So you can market cap as well. I understand that those aren't necessarily precise numbers, and that it's fun when I say, how much have people invested? It's not like a GoFundMe. It's not like a company where you're buying stock, but it has features like that because you're buying an actual currency. So however you guys feel like you can answer the scope kind of questions like that.
Yeah. So what are the stats, right? What are the critical numbers here? Well, it's about $6 billion market cap on nomics.com.
7 billion now. You
about...
guys, your viewers are very familiar with Gus Demos, and he likes to talk about the top 20 market cap when he was last on our show. And just if you guys are using the right market cap aggregator, nomics.com is the one to use. Gatekeeping is very much a true thing in the crypto space, and CoinMarketCap is owned by an entity that is not Hex friendly, so they do not post us where we actually should be. So just want to set the frame that nomics.com is the most accurate and most agnostic chain aggregator of all of them out there. So
I would say our audience really runs the whole spectrum from people of zero knowledge in crypto to people who know more than me, and I was I don't know, I'd say I'm sort of not up on things currently, but I did day trade for a decent period successfully in 2008 when Bitcoin itself was just, remember when Bitcoin was $800 the unit? Yeah, those weren't those the days. So sort of
it's been a minute.
This is an evolution of the crypto sphere in general, where it's not Wild West, hope to win the lottery kind of, your shit's going to go up 300 times in a year, But I want to explain the concept of market cap, because it is kind of the one you lead with, but in a sense, it's artificially inflated as a valuation of all the coins in the system. So just to explain market cap to our audience, to those who are starting from the basics, if I issue 1,000 Adam versus the Man tokens and you buy one for $10, then I could say, well, it's worth, my market cap is $10,000. They're all worth $10. The whole market cap of my Adam versus the Man tokens is $10,000. I could sell the next one for 100,000 or for $100, and if they're all trading for $100, now my 1,000 tokens could be market cap of 100,000. So it's the value of all of the currency in this system. It's the biggest number by which you would measure a crypto.
Yes.
Yes. So market cap is a great way. That's a great standard to start off with, but it's actually a vanity metric because of that very reason. You can.
I like that vanity metric.
Yeah. It's it can be tweaked a little bit, manipulated, you could say, and many are. And really, yeah, it's the circulating supply times the latest price anyone was willing to pay for it. But some other more important metrics that you brought up that you wanted to know, Adam, is what's the total value locked? How many people are actually using this shit? Well, we've got 27,000 active stakes right now, split between most people have more than one stake, so there might be about 8 to 10,000 actual stakers and more people that are holding liquid. And the total value locked it fluctuates wildly from day to day with the price of HEX, but the total value locked is, I think, 700 million right now, approaching $1 billion. So it's no joke. It's been around for only a year, and we've already reached this critical mass and virality of people. So it's really exciting to be a part of something that's literally going viral right now, and it's like buying Bitcoin at $1. It's insane.
So this is why. So this is the smallest number by which you can measure this. How much would you estimate people have put in a dollar value into this blockchain so far?
Well, if you look at just the launch phase alone in the adoption amplifier for when people were first purchasing HEX when it was hitting the market, the valuation before the rise of Ethereum, because it was bought in Ethereum, was close to $3.5 billion worth of Ethereum. And then we've since seen an Ethereum run up of 10, 15x since then. So it's significantly higher than that now. But our market cap is sitting at 7.13 billion. We're at 1.25 cents per hex right now, not that 0.0008 that the gentleman flashed on the screen earlier. So yeah, we're obviously $1 billion cryptocurrency.
Okay, no, just so
multiple billions.
I really appreciate you guys being direct about that, because a lot of people, promoting altcoins will flash vanity numbers and really try to bullshit around this.
Yep.
And we can still look at X and boil it down to its core and say this is a very serious venture that a lot of people have not just invested the time and the money and the coding and the organization and all of that, but that this is not a fly by night. There's already a significant chunk of money into this. Yeah. So can you speak to the origins and the organization and everything like that around this?
Go ahead, Coffee.
The origins of HEX. Yeah, so HEX was created by Richard Hart. It launched on December 2nd, 2019. And it kind of kicked off the entire DeFi craze. I mean, it's what made Uniswap popular. The whole goal behind it was just to create a better Bitcoin on Ethereum that's cheaper, faster, better for the environment because it bootstraps off the security and network of Ethereum. There's all these benefits to it that basically it was just trying to fix what was wrong with Bitcoin as a store of value and give a new opportunity for people to become whales again. So basically the whole launch phase of HEX lasted a year. Those that had the ears to listen were able to buy in and become a part of the Ground One network. And it's still early. It's only 15 months old, so it is truly revolutionary. But basically, yeah, it was just a way to make a better store of value on Ethereum.
All right, so we're gonna bring co-host Steven up here to with what I think a question from the audience or comment. So give you guys the last word to wrap things up and let everybody know how they can get involved.
Yeah, so I asked to come on, and you and T-Roll said no. But you, I love you. You're a great dude. So question for you guys. I don't do crypto stuff. I've looked at it for a few years. I'm thinking about doing it. I foresee the economy collapsing because the powers that be are fucking idiots or they're fucking geniuses. Either way, right now, and I've been pretty honest with the people about this. I'm investing in guns. I'm investing in things that hold value. I'm investing in things I can touch. Why should I get Hex Coin? Why should I go crypto instead of hard objects?
Are you gonna keister that gun when you want to go cross borders? Are you gonna keister that gun when you need to hide your store of value somewhere? Because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to keister a Ledger hardware wallet and transact in billions of dollars instead of hundreds of dollars.
And if you don't want to put a little thumb drive in your bum hole, all you have to do is remember
the seed phrase. That's right.
Or password.
That's
or
right.
whatever. But yeah, no, Stephen, I think there's one point that's obviously already made there, that there are things you can do with crypto that you can't do with guns as a store of value, as a functional monetary unit. But I would invite them to answer the question from the aspect of an investment.
Right. So why get into crypto? Well, why get into Bitcoin in general, right? It's censorship resistant, borderless.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but specifically as a competitor to hard physical assets like gold, silver, or guns.
Right. Well, there's the whole suppository argument. You can memorize 12 words in your head much easier than you can lug around those guns, which, I mean, guns I'm not saying are a bad investment. I actually think they're good too. But it's always good to have
fans.
Yeah, and the potential for price appreciation in cryptocurrency is why I'm in it, as opposed to hard physical assets. It takes no effort for somebody to click the buy button. It takes very small effort, right? It takes a high amount of effort to buy and store these physical things like gold. Then you got to worry about storage, and you got to be paranoid about somebody coming to steal them. With crypto, it can be all in your head. It's purely digital. It's ones and zeros. It's just light, transferring over the internet. It's pretty insane. And people are buying into this at a faster rate than they ever have before in the history of mankind. So I see nothing but opportunity and potential in crypto, whereas the whole guns, gold, a little bit more limited. If you bought gold 10 years ago, you'd be down 10% right now. You'd be down.
But Mr. Coffee, I money in my head. I don't trust my own head. Government schools have beaten me down to tell me that I need authority. I need banks. I need people to hold my money. I can't do something as important as hold on to my own money for myself. I can't even put it under the mattress or hold metals because that could be illegal. I have to trust the banks. I can't possibly take charge of my own financial destiny. All right, so with that obviously out of the way, last word, gentlemen. I'll give you both a chance, whatever you think you need to wrap this up and to let people know how to get involved with HEX specifically.
HEX could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Go to hex.com to buy HEX today. Go to gostaker.com to download the most revolutionary crypto app on iOS and Android. If you don't know how to get started, gostaker.com is where you're going to want to start. To me, it's like buying Bitcoin at $1, and it means financial freedom and self-sovereignty for the rest of your life and for those and your loved ones around you.
Well, I have legacy stakes for my kids. I set them up for when they graduate, and I also did a segment for the max amount of staking allowed, which is 5 days on the contract. So I believe in it wholeheartedly in a way that I don't think it's going anywhere. It's contract, it's immutable code, triple audited. So I know it's got 2 mathematics audits, 1 economics audits to verify the numbers do what and the code does what it says it's supposed to do. So I trust the guy that created this because he has been the giving tree of crypto. If you go back to Richard Hart's videos, he has given self-help information for free and never monetized his YouTube channel. He's only ever tried to keep people out of scams, and part of the reason he created HEX was to steal and rob the economic energy from scams, because there's a number of people out there that are going to invest in things that they shouldn't anyway. So he figured he might as well create a competing product that actually has viability and legs to it. So I recommend you guys give it a shot. Those who have gotten into it were 95% of the people who have purchased are in profit right now, and I only see, because of the no selling pressure and the only buying pressure in proportion to each other, causing the USD valuation of HEX to go up. and it's nice to get paid right now. Anything staked over 5.29 years is making about 38.33% interest right now. And there's over $762 million in valuation staked right now.
And as your pirate captain would say, you get to call yourselves Hexicans. And I'm all
Hexicans.
about that cultural appropriation. So, no, just melting potism here, right? Love for everybody. Crypto frees the world is going to make humanity so
Agreed.
much happier, more peaceful, and prosperous. And for your work in pushing that general cause and for joining us today and being generous with your time. Thank you both very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for having us.
All right, hex.com. Check it out.